One of the biggest struggles of being a woman is men thinking we should be in constant audition to be their wives. We are never able to have fun or do anything creative or do anything that makes us the main character without being constantly criticized for wanting to do something that we may change our mind about in the future. And specifically as a Black woman, we are hyper scrutinized for everything we do, and if we make a mistake, then it affects our entire community. This reminds me of Paris Hilton being able to make one night in Paris and still be able to get married and have a child and be happy, but a Black woman wearing grills or a Black woman twerking on the internet for the Meg Thee Stallion challenge is going to ruin all prospects she may have in the future for being married. A lot of women were robbed of their girlhood at a very young age by predatory men. So now that we're rediscovering our girlhood and having fun and being excited and not wanting to be wives, but just wanting to finally be girls, it seems like that's getting robbed too by the same predatory men that robbed us of our youth. Now they're going to rob us of our 20s. When are girls going to be able to be girls, and when are women going to be able to have our girlhood back? And this is exactly why I say one of the worst things Black men have ever done to Black women is tell everyone that they will not protect us. Because when we have situations like this, if white men were way better, we wouldn't have to worry about dying during childbirth. If white men were way better, we wouldn't have to worry about police brutality. If white men were way better, we would have more rights, and we wouldn't have the systems in place that are stopping Black women from being successful. White men played a part in that. The reason why you have the oppressive systems you have right now is because of powdered wig, pasta, and lobster put them in place. I think when we see interracial couples on social media, we tend to forget that 50 years ago, that same white man could have potentially hung you from a tree. And I'm not necessarily telling you to date a Black man. I'm not telling you to do that. I happen to date white men. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to hold Black women's hand when I say this, you are at the bottom of the totem pole thanks to the men that we reproduce with. And the women at the top of the totem pole, i.e. white women, will tell you firsthand that white men can be very dangerous if you are not careful. So Black women have got to stop romanticizing white men because you assume that you're going to get a white man with resources. You might just get a white man who is a racist.
Or you might just get both. A white man who is a racist, a white man who has resources, a white man who also has a fetish of Black women. He just wants to experiment with you. He doesn't see you as a person. He sees you as a thing that needs to be conquered, a thing that has low self-esteem issues, a thing that glorifies him, a thing that does not have any sort of self-love within themselves, a thing that you can just drop and pick up whenever, a thing that actually needs emotional balance because it does not have that, a thing that's regarded at the bottom of the bottom and gets to be so happy when they get recognized by any man because they never get to be approached by men. That kind of thing. We glorify, I'm also including myself, we glorify white men because of the movies that we see. We glorify white men because of the things that we see. But the same white men, way more when they have money. They are the ones that set up the structures of oppression. They are the ones that go to other countries and destabilize them. They are the ones doing all kind of things to women like this. They're not any way better. Okay? The society that we exist in is thanks to white men because they said that our way of living is uncivilized. It's thanks to those kind of men we live in the society that we live in today. We don't have structure. We don't even have eternal self-love. You don't have it. Why don't you have that kind of love for yourself? Why? And then I used to see a young girl interracial relationship. Nowadays I don't because I am like, you know what? This won't be my symbolism of love. This won't be my thing of love. I'm sorry. I won't use a white person as a symbolism of love, especially when I look like this. A white man is not capable of loving me. If he has, then he needs to be comfortable restructuring the society that has benefited him, which I doubt 100% he would do. He cannot do that. He cannot do that. He's no better than a black man. He's worse. He actually knows when to weaponize his incompetence. He knows when to actually weaponize racism into his favor. He knows how to do that. And life will not stop. It will not stop. It will not stop. Because he starts loving you. And even if he does love you sincerely, he has to deal with the outside noise. His family, number one. Okay? His family. Often than not, it's in their blood. You can't help it. Okay? People that used to have picnics with people like that look like me, today they love me. The same white man that will hang you with your vagina from a tree is the one that's capable of loving you way, way, way better, especially if they're rich. The same white man that used to experiment with the bodies of black women are the ones that are capable of loving me. The white men who are capable of experimenting of black children's bodies are capable of loving me. I date white men too. Not white South African men. That needs to be emphasized and clear, because I don't think would ever, ever, ever be able to be in that kind of category without me going blank. I just cannot. Because when I look at them, I see everything that reminds me of why I should not be around them. Because those type of men are involved in more shady things. They're in Africa right now taking resources to rebuild Paris, to rebuild Italy, to rebuild all these beautiful cities within their countries. Which the very same cities with our labor and our resources, we won't be able to enter. White, rich men do that. Not black men. Black men oftentimes wish that they can be on the same length with them by participating in patriarchy, not realizing that patriarchy is just as harmful as it is to women, black women. They believe and associate sleeping with a white woman as a way of getting closer to the white men. And that's the most dumbest way to do something. Basically. So for me, I just get shocked when I see people glorifying white men, especially in the States. You guys have especially white women, black women in the States. A lot of you glorify them way, 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 way too much for my liking. And for people that glorify them that much with the rate of brutality of whitey men in that country, I'm still surprised that you believe that they are way more better when they're rich, when they're capable of putting laws like that. I don't see Trump as way better when he has resources. If anything, he's way worse. I don't see a lot of them putting laws to protect black people in that sense. When they're rich, they get worse actually. So I'm really shocked, really. I'm really shocked for people that glorify white men like this. Okay? I remember there was a time I even posted a video about girls not clicking and registering in the brain. That when he says curls, he's not talking about curly African hair. He's talking about curls, white girls. And the people in the comments that he was talking to, they referred to him. They answered to him back and he responded. He wasn't talking to this. But because you guys love a little bit of attention, you'll be so happy you'd even jump to the moon.